I wonder if there's a chamber in Discord. Hi guys, Freaky Fishka here with another video for you today. Today I've just got back from locals and I made top cut with chain burn. So in Swiss I went X2, I lost my last 2 rounds. We'll go through my matchups later on, but basically I played against meta the whole event. And then my top cut round, unfortunately I lost to someone I beat earlier in Swiss that day, so it was a little bit annoying, but the cards just weren't against me. All my feature matches, as always, will be uploaded to the channel. Go check them up now if they're already there. If they're not, they're going to be uploaded shortly. I'm not sure which order I'm going to put these up in. Anyway, so chain burn is a deck that I've always kind of loved. It's going to sound horrible, but burn is fun. But one of my first few decks I built when I was a lot younger was a burn deck because it's non-mainstream. It's very fun to build a deck that doesn't win in the conventional way of attacking with monsters. Unfortunately, there is a lot of stigma around burn decks because obviously Mind Burn is around, and back in 2017, Chain Burn was pretty much like the least fun deck to play. But now I feel in 2021, Chain Burn is actually kind of interesting, especially compared to its, cousin Mind Burn. I'll happily say most of my opponents, I think pretty much all of them today, enjoyed our games. It was very interesting. It was a very different play style to play against, and it's just fun to see a deck you won't see anymore. Just a small thing before we get started. This deck I literally built last night. I built last night because I want to play something different, and I built it out of what I have in my bulk. So that you're going to see some options that are questionable, but I'm happy to explain through them and what I would have played differently. Maybe if I played a few cards differently and actually put a lot of effort into it, I might have actually won the locals or made at least better than top 8, better than top cut. The reason I've done this is so that I can just have this deck as a spare deck. It doesn't use any of the main pieces I need in my other decks, so I'm always going to have this deck available if anyone needs to borrow a deck for an event. And let's be honest, if you're going to borrow a deck for an event, it might as well be a deck that no one in the room is going to enjoy playing against you. So my matchups, we'll go quickly far through. Round 1 was Shoutout, which I won. Round 2 was Zoo, which I won. Round 3 was Droidtron, which I won. Round 4, unfortunately, was Dinosaur, which I lost. We'll go through the replays later on as to why. Round 5 was Ignista, which again I lost because access code go brr. In the top cut, I played against Droidtron, and unfortunately I lost to the same player I beat round 3, but this time the luck was on my side, and a good Heavy Storm Duster does mean that we fortunately can't play. Anyways, just to fly through the deck profile, so obviously we're playing 3 Lilith. This is like the best monster for any trap deck that doesn't have any more normal summons. You can tribute it at any time to reveal 3 traps in your deck, set 1 at random. If you feel reveal 3 are the same, you're going to get exactly 1. Sometimes I play a lot of mind games with this, so I'll reveal like a Dimension Wall or a Magic Cylinder, Waking the Dragon, because they have to pop it, otherwise they get Dimension Walled. But if they pop it, it could be Awaken the Dragon. There's a lot of mind games you can play with this. 2 other monsters. I'm playing 2 Firecracker. A lot of people were telling me to take this out in the Chain Burn Discord. Yes, that's a thing. But I was like, no, I'm fine. Because the main thing is it's guaranteed 1,000 damage, which is very important late game. And you can use it with Chain Strike. So it's an extra chain link for some more burn damage. Because with Chain Strike, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the last card is Chain Strike. You can throw this in as number 5. Chain Strike will be number 6. So it's another 400 damage on Chain Strike. Doesn't sound a lot, but that can come up. And worst case scenario, it's just a beat stick. Like, a lot of people beat burn by summoning 1 monster and attacking you. This is 17. You can kind of smack over a few things with it. It's kind of cool. A lot of the time I did side it out, but if you're going into time, it's also very cool because you could just discard it, deal okay in time, and then win that way. Last 2 monsters, a relatively new one, we're playing Mahama, the Fairy Dragon. This is another Magic Cylinder for the deck, so they attack you. You do have to take the damage, but then you can summon it and then deal the same damage to them. Basically, it equalizes the life points. You can also just special it and then gain the life points, but I did that a few times. I wouldn't recommend it now that I've actually thought about it, is you just always want to do the damage because that is obviously your win condition. Here's also a tuner. I didn't do anything with that, but you could do some wacky stuff, I guess, with Lilith plus Mahama to make like a level 8 synchro, but I never did anything like that. That's it for monsters. We are playing spells. We're playing 3 Pot of Extravagance. You don't really want to play Prosperity because you want the raw card advantage. There's something I was saying a lot of locals. I had a conversation with Callum the other day. Is you want to be drawing an extra card because you want to be drawing more cards than they can deal with, so you can just burn them more. Like, getting a one-off burn card with Prosperity isn't enough. You could play Desires, but then you're banishing things for Trap Trick and later on. So this was just the best option because, let's be honest, Chain Burn doesn't use its extra deck. So yeah, Pot of Extravagance was my pick. The last spell was just Chain Strike. It's still at 1. It could probably go back to more than 3. because it's not broken enough, but it's one of those cards where like if it does go back to 3, people will just be playing this deck a lot. So I can kind of see why it's at 1. It's kind of like a degenerate play style that not a lot of people enjoy, but it's not broken enough to be on the ban list. So it's got to be on the ban list, basically. If you can hear that, that's my neighbour screaming. Purple cards. Into trap cards, we're playing 3 Just Desserts. Inflict 500 points damage for each monster they control, pretty standard. Secret Blast, 300 for every card they control, and if it's popped, you deal an extra 1,000. Free Secret Barrel, 200 for every card on their field and in their hand. And then finally 2 Ceasefire, which is our last of our big burners. 500 for every effect monster on the board, and flips up face down monsters without triggering their flip effects. Can come up, not really that relevant. So yeah, these boys are basically your main burn cards, Just Desserts being the best one. Probably followed by Secret Blast. Secret Barrel can come up, especially if a lot of people are keeping stuff in their hand. You can do some surprise things with Secret Barrel. Ceasefire is just a 2-off because it's probably the worst because it's only effect monsters, so it doesn't work with our Drama Trio, which is our next card. We're playing our Drama Trio because it puts more bodies on the board for these cards to do more damage. You can do like Chain Link 1, Secret Blast, Chain Link 2, Just Desserts, Chain Link 3, Secret Barrel, and then Chain Link 4 being a Drama Trio. Chain Link 5 could be Chain Strike, which is really good, and then again, guaranteed another 15 damage with Just Desserts, another 900, number 600. Doesn't sound a lot, but when these start to rack up, it can be very cool. And there's nothing more satisfying than chaining like 4 traps, and then the result is your opponent is defeated. It's very fun to do and it's very fun to watch, but that's why we're playing a Drama Trio. Other traps, we're playing 3 Dimension Wall. This is something I wasn't playing originally in my very old Chain Burn profile. Did a profile about a year ago. Go watch it if you don't want to, but it's pretty fun. It's pretty much very similar to this, apart from a few things have changed. Dimension Wall is basically like a magic cylinder, but you have to be able to take the damage. So if they will attack you directly, it's great because you can do a lot of damage. If they attack over a monster, it doesn't do that much because it's only the difference in the damage, whatever the damage would be, basically. So it does have its downsides, but the good side is it doesn't target, and it also doesn't affect things like towers. So against Ignista, if they attack you for 6k directly, you can just go, you take the 6k instead, doesn't affect the monster, which is very nice. We are still playing 2 Magic Cylinder. It's great. The downside is now it does target, so like against like things like the Ignista and Dragoon, it's not great, but it does negate the attack, which does come up against things like Zeus Turbo decks. You can negate the attack with this, which is very nice. The last of our battle traps, we're playing 2 Blazing Mirror Force just because in case like we are about to get like chump smacked. The downside is obviously battle traps do lose to negates, which a lot of monsters do make nowadays, but it's there. Normally I just sided out. I never really played it the whole event, to be honest. Other traps, the best trap in my opinion, Ring of Destruction. This came up so many times, especially against Drytron. The cool thing against this is they go Meteornus to Ritual Summon. If they have Fafnir, you can pop the Fafnir so that they don't get to detach for the Ritual Summon. And twice today, that meant the Meteornus did not resolve, which was amazing. Yeah, Ring of Destruction is really good. Unfortunately, it's once per turn. I'm not really playing 3, playing 2 because we can trap trick it out if we need to. But yeah, this is a really good card. Another 2-off trap card, playing 2 Waking the Dragon. It does come up. We're playing some fun things for this, which are very, very funny. We'll talk about those when we get social deck, but yeah, 2 Waking the Dragon. If you don't main it, you have to side it. 2 Reckless Greed, because sometimes we like to draw cards. 2 Mismatch Rarities, because yay. Before, I never used to like Reckless Greed, but now we kind of need to, just to maintain some card advantage. And then the last 2 cards, 2 Trap Trick. To get any of these ones you need, you can do funny things like Lilith, Reveal, Trap Trick, 2 Ring Destruction, so they know you're going to get Ring Destruction. There's loads of funny things you can do with Trap Trick. Okay then guys, it's that point of the video where I give a shout out to a channel that I personally watch. Once again, I have not been paid, not asked to do this. I want to make that very clear. I'm just doing this out of the good of my heart because these are people I reckon just deserve a shout out. This week's shout out goes out to Carachula3. This channel used to be huge. It used to be one of my favourite channels to watch, and it's just sad because obviously with COVID and the lockdown, they haven't been able to make much content recently. What these guys did was every week they would upload videos called a Scrub League, which is basically at their locals they had a custom ban list, and they just used to see all the wacky decks that you never see. I'm talking things like, if they were doing it now, it would be like B-Trooper versus like Satella Knights. It was just fun. There was things like Legendary Fisherman playing. There was things like Satella Knight. There was things like Chainburn, funny enough. There was things like World Chalice when they came out. Was like the big thing. It was just interesting to see like what would happen if the ban list was just so harsh that every good deck got hit. And it's just fun to see casual decks play out again. Like, it's part of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to watch casual fun decks do weird wacky things. If you haven't already, please go check them out. They deserve all the love. They haven't been to upload in well over a year, which is very sad. As soon as they start to upload, I will again be given a big shout out. But If you are watching this and you're from Carachula 3, thank you guys for some great content. You really deserve all the love. On to this deck. 1 Star Mine. I played 1 today because I literally only found 1 in my bulk. I'm straight away going to go on just TCG Player or Card Market or whatever I want to use to just buy 2 more. This is a terrible card and it will never be played ever, but I love it. What it does is basically if they pop Waking the Dragon, you can summon this and it is guaranteed 2k damage unless they like Unicore it away or if you're playing Dino. Basically, if it is destroyed by battle or card effect, you deal 2k to each player. If a card next to it is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy this card and then deal 2000 damage to each player. Basically, you just Waking it, summon it, they have to deal with it and it's guaranteed 2k damage. Which is it's a quarter of their life points, which is actually really important for chain burn. It basically says Waking a Dragon deals 2k, which can be really relevant, and I want to play 3 so I can, you know, keep it consistent with Extrav. Other cards we're playing 2 Radio Rapper Ultimate Tower Falcon. I only own 2, so that's only played 2. If you have 3, you play 3. It's a Towers, it's very good. I made this a few times from Waking the Dragon, and I just won the game. Again, this is out of the stuff in my bulk. We're playing 3 White Orwell. The reason is it attacks twice and does piercing. So say if you Yugioh a trio of them and then you get a turn back and whatever reason they've popped Waking the Dragon, you can summon this, punch into 2 of the Yugioh tokens and deal 5-6 damage from this doing piercing, and then another 600 from the tokens dying. So quite hefty damage. We're playing 3 Dark Cavalry. This is my favourite tech from my old list. I've played it again in this list. It gets 100 attack for every spell trap in the field and in the graveyard, which means in this deck, it gets big. If it attacks defense position monster, it does piercing, the same reason as this, but it doesn't attack twice. And if a card or effect is activated that targets card in the field, you can quick effect, discard 1 card, negate, and destroy. It's a negate for targeting, so it can stop like Twin Twisters, things like that. It does piercing, and it gets big. It's pretty fun. 3 Light Flare. It's a 5k negate. Literally the only reason I'm playing it. If I have 2 more Star Mines, I'd probably take these out and then play this as the last Falcon, because I never really summon it. It's just in case there's something, like they can't get over 5k, I'll summon it. Otherwise, I'll just go for the Falcon. 2 Nat Beast. 1 Secret and Ultra, because memes. Literally in case I play a Struggle player and they go like Jamming Waves pop, just to like start picking up my back row, summon a Nat Beast and just make them cry for the rest of the game. And the last card was a Beals, because again, I didn't have anything else to put in there. If I was playing this deck seriously, I'd probably put in my Dragoons, but the idea was I wanted to build a deck that didn't contain my good cards. And I actually really enjoyed it. I might just keep this as it is forever, because it's a meme deck and it does well. Finally, we are actually going to talk through the side deck, because there's not really combos for this deck for me to show off, and the side deck was very relevant for how I did. So we are playing 3 Alpha. This actually came in very clutch. If you go watch my game round 1 against Invoked, or it might have been Invoked, it might have been the Zodiac player, but this card was great, and it's just fun because it's the last thing they expect in Burn, because like, oh, I'm going first against Burn, I'll be fine, and then you just slap down an Alpha, normal summon a Lilith, start picking apart their board. It's great fun. We're playing a 3rd Firecracker on side, just because when we went to game 3 near time, you could just slide this in, and like I said, if they're comboing off, let them combo off, go to time, drop the Firecracker, drink the tears. It's great. We're playing 2 Spell Shattering Arrow, because in my bulk I found a removal spell that does burn damage. Yay! Just in case anyone played Pendulum, or are playing against something that resolved around a field spell like Salaman Great, or funny enough Ignista, or even Pendulum. Again, you can just drop this on them, burn them for like 1000, and then keep going, and it's great. It would not be a burn deck without playing 3 Lava Golem. This card is very good. A lot of people play Sphere mode of this. I've always preferred the Lava Golem just because it picks apart 2 cards guaranteed. Sometimes if you're playing against some decks, they only make 2 monsters. And you look at your Sphere mode and go, oh, Lava Golem is always going to be live. It deals 1000 damage to every standby phase, so it can increase our win condition. Now for the ultimate meme, my favourite hand trap, 3 Ghost Sister and Spooky Dogwood. You need to go watch the Drytron match to see how good this card can be. Honestly, I will link it in the description of this video or the comments as soon as it goes live. You need to watch it. This card is dumb. It's not amazing. It's kind of like a bad maxi where if you drop it on your opponent, they have to start thinking. There was one point against the Dino player I played into Gamma with this. I should have held it, because if I didn't drop this when I was open to Gamma, which unfortunately he did Gamma me, I could have just like won that game because he wouldn't have made the board he did. But yeah, it's a really good card. I love having 2 free Secret Res because it's water. It's very fun, and it's just something, you know, memey. And the last 3 cards, free Inspector Border, because we had to play a real side deck card. Against the Drytron player, literally these two cards right here was the end of his game. Inspector Border is really good against Drytron because they basically have to have a normal summon to deal with it, or they have Nova. Nova into Link Reaper is the only real way to play around it, and then you can do fun stuff like drop this on them and again go up to like 14k in one turn. Anyway guys, that was my Chainburn deck profile. If you aren't interested in watching matches and future deck profiles, please subscribe. I'm on the road to 1,000 subs, and that is basically my goal, to get there by the end of this year, if not by halfway through next year. I don't upload much in terms of like amazing content. I literally just upload my feature matches and a few deck profiles that I see around the place. It's not much, but it's an honest living, but I do enjoy it. And a good part of enjoying it is seeing all you guys subscribe and leaving those likes. So if you do want to leave a like, please do. If not, you know, write Chainburn sucks in the comments, that thing. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.